Hey guys, I'm Tyler.
I'm Matt.
And we are Reality Films. We understand, again, we haven't been uploading at all, but we're going to try to keep doing these sort of reviews and stuff in short sketches when we can. So today we're going to be going ahead and doing a very brief overview of the Infinity Saga with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or the MCU.
Giving our opinions.
We're going to be giving our opinions on each movie in order. Again, very brief because there's lots of movies here, over 20, so you want to make sure that we get through all of them as quick as possible. So we're going to be starting off with Phase 1 to Phase 2, Phase 3. So Phase 1, the original Iron Man. What are your thoughts?
That is such a good movie, and it was the perfect way to start off the MCU. And I couldn't think of a better way for it to start off.
Yeah, I like the original Iron Man. I think it not only started the MCU off in a really good way, but I think it was more or less I was surprised. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was. So very good movie. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I think it's a great movie. The second one is The Incredible Hulk, the Edward Norton Hulk. What are your thoughts?
I actually like that movie quite a bit. It's not like on my rewatch list a lot, but I do like the
Yeah, I like it too. It's definitely something like I don't usually look for when I'm watching, like when I'm looking to watch a Marvel movie, but I've been in a few like moods where I've actually generally just wanted to watch a Hulk movie, and that's where I went to. It's a good movie. It's a great story.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like it's part of the MCU.
Yeah, it feels like it's its own thing.
Other than what's his name, Thunderbolt Ross. I mean, in other movies, it really doesn't feel connected at all.
No, yeah.
But that's good because then it just feels like a standalone movie.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give Incredible Hulk a 7.5 out of 10.
I think I'd give it maybe a 7.
All right, so the third movie in Phase 1 is Iron Man 2.
This is one of the only movies on this list that I don't like. I like parts of it, but not the whole movie.
Yeah, out of all the MCU movies, there are bits and pieces to this movie that I do enjoy, but for the most part, it's a
with Iron Man and Rhodey.
It's a wasted opportunity.
Yeah,
but it is fine. I mean,
it's not like you want to cut out your eyes watching it, but it's not like I would never just say, hey, I want to watch Iron Man 2 right now.
I think it's just a little bit of overkill to always have two movies. And I mean, I know SpiderMan did it with Phase 3, but it's a little bit overkill to have the same character, especially in such a short phase into two movies. But it is what it is. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give this movie a 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 5 too. It's all right.
And then the fourth movie in Phase 1 is Thor, the original one.
So I actually used to hate this movie, but actually when I rewatched it last time, I might have just been in a good mood. But I actually didn't love it, but I did thoroughly enjoy it from start to finish. It was just a really fun. It wasn't great, but by any means, but it was still a fun movie. I liked it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's fine. I don't think it's as good as Ragnarok, and I don't think it really lives up to what I thought it would. It is a fun, just fish out of water story. I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I think 6.5. That's probably right.
And then the fifth movie of Phase 1, Captain America: The First Avenger.
I love this movie. This is definitely the weakest of the 3 Captain America movies, but I think if this is considered the worst, then this is a pretty good trilogy. Then I think this is by far probably the most underrated movie in the whole MCU. What about you?
I think it's good. I don't think it's as strong as the other two, but I do think it is a good movie. It's a great way to start off a hero. I mean, I think out of all the movies, maybe with the exception of Iron Man, he had probably the best origin story.
Yeah.
I think it was done really well. So, in all, I do enjoy this movie, Captain America: First Avenger. So I'm just gonna go ahead and give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, either 8 or 8.5 for me. I really like it.
And then the sixth and final movie of Phase 1, The Avengers.
So I love this one. This is actually probably my either 4th or maybe 5th favorite movie of the whole MCU. I think it still holds up really well, and every time I watch it, I still get a little bit of that buzz you get when you first saw it in theaters. That was the first movie I saw in theaters that it was it didn't feel like just a movie. Like it is just a movie, but it felt like more of an experience rather than actual just a movie. And I love it. And if I had any complaints about the entire thing, for me, it's Captain America's suit.
It is a good movie. It's definitely the most childish of all the Avengers movies, but it is very good. I think it pulled off the teaming sort of film.
And it's straight to the point too. So
it
I
is
like
straight
that.
to the point. It does not feel like a 2.5 hour runtime. It feels real short.
Maybe
And that's a common theme with all the Marvel movies. They feel really short.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of a few, they really do feel short. They don't feel like their runtime. That's for sure.
Avengers is 10 for me.
Yeah, the Avengers is 10 out of 10 for me. So, but yeah, I love the Avengers. I think it's one of the best. I think it is probably the best team up movie in terms of like the origin of a team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's probably the best by far. I mean, we know Justice League isn't the best one, so I'd assume that this is really it. So then we go into phase 2, and we start off with Iron Man 3 and the final Iron Man of the trilogy.
So I don't think this movie is anywhere near as bad as people say, and I definitely think it has a whole lot of good in it. That being said, it's definitely not a great movie. I do like it though, but it's sad because if they did like stray away from doing that plot twist, I think it could have been a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
But that really does take away someone who, at least in my opinion anyway, could have been a villain. Not as good, but up there with like Heath Ledger's Joker, and then they just made him into a joke, and now he's.
I think Iron Man 3 it's fine. I don't personally like it too much. That's just me. I think the twist was really stupid, and I think if a twist is that stupid, then the movie in and of itself isn't that great. I think if you can't pull off such an easy character, I mean, I think what Shane Black was trying to accomplish was fantastic, but in all, I think this movie was a huge letdown. So, do we rate the Avengers?
I don't think we did.
But anyways, Iron Man 3 for me is
maybe 6 or 6.
Probably a 5.5. I do find enjoyable parts. The end fight scene is cool with all the robotic suits. The part at the end when he throws away despite the fact that it means nothing because he has a suit again in the next Avengers movie. But I do like the story that was trying to be told. I think the man.
I like that he's suffering from anxiety too.
Yeah.
I added a lot.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give Iron Man 3 a 5.
And I give it either 6 or 6.5.
And then the second movie in phase 2, in my opinion, the worst MCU movie to date, Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah, me too. I hate this movie, and I honestly don't want to watch it again unless I'm gonna marathon the entire MCU. I want to make sure I watch all of them. But this is the only movie on this list where I honestly just want to, while I'm watching it, be texting someone or doing something else the entire time. It's really, really, really boring.
The first 5 minutes of this movie, honestly, I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. It's actually a fun first, the first actually 10 minutes is actually very fun. It's a lot of action, it's a lot of fighting, and it shows a lot of personality from Thor. It shows a lot of personality from Sif. I thought it was fantastic, and then it just turns into a kind of a really poorly done Lord of the Rings / romantic hybrid. I personally didn't like it. I thought Malekith, is that his name? Malekith?
Yeah, Malekith.
I thought he was really boring and generic. And that is unfortunately a common thing with MCU villains, but I think with Malekith especially, just had no personality. Dark World. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a pity 4 out of 10. Just because I really did like those first 10 minutes. I thought the first 10 minutes were
I really enjoyed the first 10 minutes too.
And Thor: The Dark World is better than a lot of other movies I've seen. I'm just comparing it to the standards of the MCU.
It's actually still better than a lot of comic book movies, actually.
So the third movie in phase 2, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. What are your thoughts?
I love this whole movie from start to finish, and up until another movie I'll mention later, this was actually my favorite for a really, really long time. And I love everything about it. Captain America has been my favorite since the first Avenger of all the MCU heroes, and I thought it couldn't have done better.
I think The Winter Soldier, definitely a nice change. I feel like up until this point, the MCU was a very lighthearted kind of franchise, and I did enjoy that. I'm not saying I didn't, but I think Captain America: The Winter Soldier kind of started giving it that more badass tone that we all had kind of wanted for a really long time.
Yeah.
And I think The Winter Soldier started that, and I think the Russos did a fantastic job creating a really good spy movie. So Winter Soldier for me, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to give it a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
Great movie, perfect movie.
Love it.
One of the very few movies I give 10 out of 10. Good movie. So then we get into the fourth movie of Phase 2, Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love this movie. This one, I wasn't like shocked. Like everyone else seemed to like coming in expecting to hate this movie. I thought it would be good, but I didn't think it'd be as good as it was. Chris Pratt is the best person who could have been chosen for Star-Lord. Like I can't picture another person in this role, and I liked it quite.
I knew it was going to be good. I knew I was going to like it. I mean, just from the trailers, I was like, this is going to be a fantastic, very
it's like a
funny
weird,
movie.
bizarre type of movie too.
Had Chris
really
Pratt.
liked
I was like, Chris Pratt immediately made me want to go watch this movie.
Mhm.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this an 8.5. I think it struggles creating emotional moments, and that's why I'm docking it to half a point from a 9. And the reason I'm not making it a 10 is because it's not as good as the 10s I've given, so that's why I can't give it a 10. But I do think it's worth an 8.5 for me.
I think for me, I'm going back and forth between 8.5 and 9. Depending on when I watch it, sometimes I like it a lot more than I do another time. So I think 8.5 is probably the best. Yeah, I'll give it 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, and then we get into the fifth movie of Phase 2, Avengers Age of Ultron. In my opinion, and this isn't saying anything bad, this is the weakest Avengers movie out of them all, but that is not saying much because they are all fantastic.
Yeah, I think so too. I noticed Age of Ultron gets quite a bit of hate.
I think this did take a darker turn. I think especially with the flashbacks. I don't agree when people just say flat out it wasn't a dark movie like they thought it was. I thought it was a dark movie. It just wasn't as
feels
dark.
darker than the first one, but it also feels more. I don't know how to explain
It does. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm probably gonna give this. I'm gonna go ahead and give this an 8.5 as well. 8.5.
And then I think I maybe give it maybe 8.5. I'm kind of thinking an 8 out of 10, but I need to watch it again maybe.
And then the sixth and final movie, which is a weird way to end Phase 2, is AntMan.
So AntMan, this one is the one that I was a bit concerned on. It definitely looked funny from the trailer. I feel like I was more like nervous for this movie, like people were for Guardians, but then I ended up actually really enjoying it. This one feels way more of just a comedy instead of like a superhero movie. It does have it does have superhero moments in it, definitely, but this one is more of like the start of the really like funny aspect that a lot of
I think the thing with Ant-Man is it does feel it struggles being a solo movie. I think Ant-Man would do better, and it pains me to say this, on a Disney Plus show where you could team with somebody. I do think this movie is good. I think it did a great job accomplishing what it wanted to do. The only thing I'm finding hard about this, like what I find is I love this movie actually, but I oddly remember the least of this movie than any other movie. I don't know why. I just cannot remember this movie very well. I know what happens. I know the kind of general plot. And I think the reason I remember so much of the Thor Dark World is because it sucked so bad. Like, I can't remove that from my brain. But, like, I like this movie. I really do. When I watch it, I'm like, oh, yeah, this is a great movie. But I just can't remember much of it. I enjoyed it. I'm going to go ahead and give this movie an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
And then the first movie of Phase 3, and personally my favorite phase, and this is a really
oh yes, this is by far my favorite phase.
This is a really long phase. Oh my god, there's a lot of movies in Phase 3. I didn't even realize that. Okay, this is amazing. I love Phase 3. This is what this convinced me.
This is the pinnacle of Marvel, I think.
Yeah, 100%.
I definitely think it will stay really good, but for me, I think that Phase 3 is probably the best it's going to be.
Yeah.
Part of that's for certain films in it.
So, the first film of Phase 3, very strong star, might I add, is Captain America Civil War, which is it's crazy to me how the Russos seem to one-up themselves. I don't necessarily know if this is better than Winter Soldier, but I would say it is as good as Winter Soldier.
Yeah, for me, I would say maybe Winter Soldier is might have a slightly better like story-wise, but I think Civil War is the one. Like, I definitely would pick Civil War over Winter Soldier just because of like the fight scenes in Civil War are far better than the ones in.
Yeah, I mean
Soldier.
the airport fight scene alone. I mean, if you have not watched the airport fight
I've
scene,
probably seen that.
do
at
yourself
least
a
100
favor.
times.
Do yourself a favor and watch that airport fight scene. It's so dramatic, so much drama. Same thing with the end fight scene too.
Yeah,
a lot of drama. But yeah, I love Captain America: Civil War. Easily a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, me too.
I love Civil War.
Just
for a while, it was my favorite, and
Yeah.
I couldn't really decide between Winter Soldier and Civil War up until my definitive favorite, which came recently.
Yeah.
But anyways, so 10 out of 10 for both of us for Civil War. Number 2 for Phase 3 is Doctor Strange, which I have loved since day one. I thought that this was a really, really refreshing change from the usual that we've been getting. I liked the magic. I liked how it introduced the Time Stone. I liked how it introduced just all this crazy crap that I thought it was just a fun movie. It was visually pleasing. Benedict Cumberbatch did an amazing job playing the role. I thought he was perfect. I was very excited when I heard that he was going to be playing Doctor Strange. He is so perfect for that role. I think he's one of the most talented actors out there right now, and I wasn't let down.
And this movie, I was looking forward to. I think I wasn't really sure what to expect. I knew a lot going in, but I also knew hardly anything at the same time. But I think it's a really well done movie, and it's very different. I think this one's probably feels pretty standalone too.
Yeah.
I get vibes from Iron Man, but it also feels like a completely different thing.
It feels like a Phase 3 movie. It feels CGI filled.
Yeah.
It feels very action packed. It feels very visually awesome. I'm gonna have to go ahead and I'm just gonna give this a movie at 9.5. I'm docking it the half point because I thought the villain was weak.
And then I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10.
The third movie in Phase 3, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, in my opinion, is an underrated movie, but I don't think it lives up to the first one, but I do think it is a good movie. I mean, in reality, it just all comes down to charm. I don't think this one is as charming as the first one. That's it for me.
I also think this one has, mostly in the middle, not in the beginning or the end, but in the middle, I feel like the movie comes to a pause for about 20 to 25 minutes, where it feels like not a whole lot's going on. Then it sets back up and it gets right back up again. So I think a little bit pacing issues, but I still really like the movie. And I think it's definitely a good sequel.
It's definitely an amazing sequel. I don't know. I forgot what I gave the original one, but I
think you get 8.5.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7.5, a rating below. I just don't think it's as good.
That one I definitely agree with. It's 7.5. It's definitely a good movie, but the first one set, I think, a pretty high bar.
And then the fourth movie of Phase 3 is SpiderMan Homecoming. I was actually, believe it or not, I was really worried because I thought this was going to focus way too much on being a teenage film, like a teenage rom-com. I thought it was kind of, I didn't think it was going to be like Thor: The Dark World, but I thought it was going to worry so much on romantics and things like that I was going to forget to be just a good Spider-Man movie. But they didn't let me down. I thought it was a fantastic Spider-Man movie. Vulture was awesome. It's a very different Spider-Man. Michael Keaton is an amazing actor, as we all know, and I thought it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I think this is a very different Spider-Man movie. It's definitely a new take on Spider-Man, but for me, I'm ready for a new take. We got the great Tobey Maguire movies. We got a good first Andrew Garfield movie, and I feel like a new take on the character was definitely needed, in my opinion anyway, and I definitely really liked it a lot. This was like the movie though where the entire time, like I loved him in Civil War, but I was worried, like several points in this movie I felt like, it could definitely go way down here. Hold on, so you're gonna have to cut that out because I'm being stupid. Okay. I felt that there was several points in this movie where I felt like it could go.
He thought it could go way downhill.
Yeah, but it didn't, and I feel like it stayed consistently good throughout the whole time.
But yeah, I do like this movie a lot. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
I think that's a good rating for it. And then the fifth movie in Phase 3, and the final movie not the final, my bad, they're gonna make a fourth one, but Thor Ragnarok, the third Thor movie. I thought this movie absolutely surprised the hell out of me. I was not expecting this.
It looked funny in the trailer. I didn't expect just how much of a comedy this movie was going to be, and I think if you're expecting a dark Thor movie, this might be like a big turn off for you. But it was really funny from start to finish, and it's such a weird style of comedy. Kind of like how James Gunn made Guardians its own little unique style of humor. Because that one's more of a dark sort of humor. This is a really, really like.
It's a lighthearted movie.
Yeah, it's really lighthearted, but it has its own
very
very weird style of humor that I really, really like. That I haven't really seen in anything.
But it does have its emotional moments. I love the scene when like he like when Hela's holding him down, and then like his eyes, like he opens his eyes and they're just glowing, and then lightning just. That was an amazing moment for me.
That was awesome.
Yeah. This movie was out of all of, if you are refusing to accept that this is not the Thor from the comics, then you won't like this movie. But if you are willing to accept that the Thor we had before just was not working with general audiences, and that this is just a funny Chris Hemsworth fight kind of Thor, and it's a badass Thor. I thought it was I thought it's kind of like what Jason Momoa did with Aquaman. They changed the character, but it made it better, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Yeah.
And Hela's an awesome villain too. So,
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, the actress absolutely killed it. I forget her name unfortunately, but I thought she killed it.
Do we rate Spider-Man? I don't think we're skipping a rating.
No, we gave.
Did we?
Yeah,
okay.
we did.
Making sure. So, yeah.
And Thor Ragnarok. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. I love Thor Ragnarok. I can watch it over and over again.
I'm thinking maybe a 9, but I really, really like this movie, and I also was kind of nervous for this one while I was watching it, just because I hated the second one, and I was expecting. I thought it would definitely be better than that one, but I still thought, we're just gonna get another either bad or average movie like the first one, and they went from an area way down here to all the way up here to maybe I don't know, maybe not top 5, but it's definitely by far in my top 10 and probably pretty close to top 5 for me.
Yeah.
So I'd probably give it
good movie.
Yeah, maybe a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. All right, and then the 6th movie in Phase 3, again, very big phase, is Black Panther. Introduced in Civil War. I knew this was going to be a good movie. I just did.
Yeah, me too.
I did not have any doubts. I did have doubts in Killmonger. I wasn't sure how Michael B. Jordan would fare in the role, but I thought he did an amazing job. I thought he is one of the best villains in the MCU, and I thought he was definitely the standout in that movie.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I do think Chadwick Boseman did an amazing job as Black Panther, but I do think Michael B. Jordan stole the show in the
Yeah,
scene
me
that he
too.
was in.
Which is funny because you and me both, from the beginning, were saying how he's going to be a terrible villain, and then we laughed at the trailer when he said some dialogue, I don't remember what he said, that we both were laughing at because we thought it sounded so cringy. We watched the movie, and then he's just as, if not more likable than the hero himself. And I think it would have been a good movie without him, but I think he made it an even better movie.
Yeah. I don't think it's as good as Thor Ragnarok. I'm going to go ahead and give this a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going to give this the same score as I gave Thor Ragnarok, because I liked them about the same, so I'll give it a 9 out of 10 too.
And then the 7th movie of Phase 3, Avengers Infinity War. I knew going into this movie this was going to be a part 1, despite the fact that they got rid of the part 1 and part 2 names, mostly because I think they just didn't want to use that cliche part 1, part 2 finale, because it's not a finale. Neither of these are, because obviously they're continuing the MCU, so they didn't want it to seem like some sort of finale. They just wanted it to seem like a finale to this.
But this
phase.
does set up a whole bunch of stuff that Endgame finishes, and this is the first movie since the Avengers that the hype going into the movie and feeling throughout the entire movie. That is the first movie I felt since then that was so high that it felt more than just like a movie. This felt like an experience. You have, especially if you see it, like one of the opening nights, everyone there is sitting there. It's not like a normal audience. Everyone's cheering.
The feeling of going to such a hot movie and being with all those fans that have the because if they're going on opening night, then they are obviously wanting to be there for the most part. Obviously, I'm sure there's some guys that drag their wives into it, but for the most part, everyone wants to be there. My favorite part is hearing all the reactions, all the gasps, all the cheers, all the boos. I thought it was that's one of my favorite parts, and I think this, more than Endgame, had really good reactions, especially with the ending.
Yeah.
You could actually, literally, after, when the credits rolled, you could hear a pen drop because of how shocked people were about that ending.
Especially people who don't know that much about comics. When you have the ending that happened, everyone was either silent or crying.
We were silent, like literally. We walked out to the car and we were just sitting there.
We did not talk in the movie, and we looked at each other and kind of like did a gasp.
Like we both knew that the Avengers, like they were going to come back. Spider-Man had at that point lots more movies to come. Now we don't know how many more movies he has, but at that moment we thought he had many more movies to come. And Black Panther obviously is going to have a sequel. It was way too successful not to have a sequel. I mean, there was no way they were going to get away with making this permanent.
Yeah.
But I thought it was still an amazing ending.
Me too.
In my opinion, the best cliffhanger ending ever. Period. In my opinion.
Me too.
Just so well done. It really. If it weren't for this ending, I would have still wanted to see Endgame. Like it still would have been anticipated. But I don't think it would have been as.
Yeah, it made you feel like you have to.
You have to see Endgame.
Because this makes you feel like everything that's been built up has all been screwed over. Everything's been taken to the ground. This is a very unique movie too, because this is not the superheroes movie. They have a lot of screen time, but this is by far Thanos' movie. But, Iron Man has a whole bunch too, but
Captain America has nothing.
Yeah,
but I give this movie a 10 out of 10.
Yeah,
easily 10 out of 10. And that's a common theme with these Avengers movies, other than Age of Ultron.
Yeah,
a 10 out of 10 all day long for Infinity War. I believe we're on 8 now. This is the 8th movie. Oh my gosh. 8th movie in Phase 3 is Ant-Man and the Wasp. This movie was interesting, and I think the thing that made it a little less anticipated and underperforming in the box office is because it came out right after Infinity War. And I think people were just so excited about Infinity War, and they were wanting Endgame. They didn't really care about Ant-Man. I mean,
especially because that movie is so dark and like gritty. It's definitely funny, Infinity War, but it's dark the entire time. And then from the trailer straight away, this movie is just a comedy. It's
a silly movie. It is good. I do like.
And I think this is a lot even funnier than the first one. And so if you didn't like that, this is even more so of a comedy.
But Ghost was cool.
Definitely better than Yellow Jacket by far.
Yeah, Ghost was awesome. This should have come after Captain Marvel, just so that way people could have a little bit of time to calm down. Not because I think Captain Marvel deserved to be in this spot, but because Captain Marvel was a new character. But anyway, we'll get into Captain Marvel in a minute. But anyways, Ant-Man and the Wasp was fantastic. I just don't think it performed. We were literally coming right off of Infinity War, so unfortunately it was put in a bad spot. And it is just another Ant-Man movie, unfortunately.
Yeah. Would you say you like this one more or the first one?
I liked the first one more, but
there's moments that are better in this one than the first one. Yeah, but sure. As a whole, I think the first one. I think I'm more likely to pop in Ant-Man than Ant-Man and the Wasp.
What did I give the first one? Shoot.
I'm thinking an 8. I can't remember.
I've given it that. I'm gonna go ahead and I think this would be a good rating regardless. I'm gonna go ahead and give this a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, me too.
Not only because it came out at a bad time, but because I do just think it was just another Ant-Man.
Yeah, it's not a great
We had seen it all.
It's a fun movie.
We had seen someone go, small. We saw him turn into Giant Man in Civil War. We already saw that. Unfortunately, this movie did not change much for me. But anyways, then we get into, oh my gosh, the 9th movie in Phase 3.
This is long.
Captain Marvel. I think the reason that this movie did so well is not only because of the new concept. Captain Marvel is a new hero, but a lot of people were just anticipating this movie. I know this is the first solo female movie for the MCU. That's a big thing for a lot of people. A lot of people are looking forward to that, reasonably so. So it did very well, and I do think this movie was fine. I would say for me it's the weakest of Phase 3, dare I say. Maybe about the same as Ant-Man and the Wasp. And the reason I say that is because it felt like a Phase 1 movie.
Yeah,
it felt like an origin story, and it did a good job. I thought the moments between Carol and Nick Fury were fantastic.
Oh yes, that's by far, that's where the movie shines for me, is those two and their chemistry. I thought that was done really, really well. I would say my biggest flaw with this whole movie is that Carol doesn't seem to
have any weakness.
Yes, weakness at all. And I was fine with her being like that, or like most of the movie, but I wanted the end fight to be her and the villain just fighting each other, and it's like
and
really
it wasn't like that at all.
It was not like that at all.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm just gonna give this movie. I'm gonna go ahead and just give this movie a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's on par with AntMan and the Wasp. It's not bad, but it's not great either.
So we love these movies, but we need to burn through these because again we're at a really, really high time right now.
Yeah.
We have a lot to edit, so we're gonna burn through these. We love these movies though. So number 10, Avengers Endgame. What a movie! Seriously, the
This
best
is both
finale.
of our favorites.
The best movie. I'm just saying my rating right now. I'm gonna say it off the beginning. 13 out of 10. Like this is amazing. The best way to end it. The best ending. The death in the movie is fantastic. The fight scene, the end fight scene is just one of the best fight, if not the best fight scene ever done. The return of
and
all
not
the
just
characters.
in the MCU. I'd say this is
Ever,
my favorite
ever. Yeah, for me.
action sequence, and it was a really, really good send off to a lot of characters and a good beginning for even more.
Yeah.
And I could watch, even though this is 3 hours long, I probably could watch this more than any of them, and I'm more likely to watch.
Yeah, you don't feel that 3 hours for sure. So I mean, 10 out of 10, but it's worth more than that. I mean, it's amazing. It's an amazing movie. Avengers Endgame. If you haven't seen that, go see it. And then the final movie of Phase 3, which is the 11th movie. Oh my gosh, this phase is long. Spider-Man Far From Home. I didn't think this should have been the last movie of this phase. I thought Endgame.
This should have been the start of Phase 4. I get this is kind of like, this is almost like the whole movie itself is kind of in a way an after credit scene of Endgame. It's a very, very good movie. I actually like this one. I actually liked it a lot more than Homecoming.
Yeah, I liked it more than Homecoming. I thought Mysterio was great. I thought he was better than Vulture, but I did think Vulture was good too. Jake Gyllenhaal did an amazing job. He also had chemistry with Peter Parker throughout the whole thing. Even when they were enemies, I thought that was great. I thought Nick Fury Nick Fury and Maria Hill being in it was cool, despite the fact the plot twist. I won't get. It's a fairly new movie. I won't give away any spoilers, but despite the plot twist at the end, that sort of downgrades.
But the other plot twist, again, we won't say because it's a really new movie.
Best plot twist.
Yes,
best plot twist of all the after credit scenes.
And cliffhanger, other than Infinity War.
It's easily the best credit scene.
Yes, the best end credit scene of the entire.
So I'm gonna give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I love Far From Home. This was a really good movie. I'm trying not to say fantastic. I said a lot. I love Far From Home.
Me too.
If you like teenage trip action Spider-Man, you'll love this movie.
See, this one feels like a rom-com, like we were both worried about for the first one, but like this was done in such a good way.
Yeah, it was done in such an amazing way that you didn't even really
and that was really
realize
only,
that.
Even though it felt like that every time, it was just him being a kid, like with the other kids. It felt like that, but the whole movie didn't feel like that though, where it felt like that was the only part of it.
So you would give it a 9.5?
Yeah, me too.
Infinity Saga was fantastic. I look forward to seeing what Black Widow brings to Phase 4. We are really excited for the next saga to begin. So I'm Tyler.
I'm Matt.
And thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have not seen the Infinity Saga, do yourself a favor. Watch them in order. The order will be in the link in the description below in which you need to watch them. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.